Mary Washington captured its 15th straight CAC championship last spring, defeating Salisbury 7-2 in the championship match. The Eagles then advanced to the third round of the NCAA tournament before falling to Johns Hopkins 5-0. A pair of doubles teams from the CAC qualified for the national tournament, UMW's Tyler Carey and Evan Charles, along with Salisbury's Daniel Albers and Eric Spangler, while Carey represented the CAC in the singles tournament. Now let's preview the 2015 men's tennis season with an in-depth look at each team while counting down the preseason poll throughout.
Our goals and expectations this year in the CAC in our second year are, again, to be competitive, to always be on the court, to be in the matches, and to play well, and to kind of show up all the time. On the men's side, we have a lot of losses this year. We lost Alex Colton, Tyler Lloyd, Ben Liebig, and Vinny Lepore, of course, who are, just key people for us in their time here. Key returners, however, Chris McGee and Johnny Shui are coming back again, and they'll be here, and Chris is moving up probably into the #1 spot. Our newcomers, we have some nice newcomers. Tyler Cook, a transfer in from Hartford Community College. Brandon Wolf, another Hartford transfer, and Victor Costa from Brazil are going to be good players for us. As far as the schedule goes this year, I don't have any problem with it. It kind of is what it is. I wish we played a little bit longer in April instead of stopping mid-April. But we try to play more competitive matches in our non-league and non-conference schedule.
The men's tennis team is a very different story than the women's. We're skilled, we are experienced, we should compete with especially the second tier of CAC foes. We will struggle with the nationally ranked programs, 3 of which are in our conference, but we should improve against those folks. We will compete, but it really will come down to my success will be measured in how we do against that second tier of CACs. A realistic goal for these guys is to qualify for the playoffs at the end of the season. We really didn't lose anyone. We didn't graduate a single playing lineup player, and that's one of the things that encourages me this year. Is this is a team that's already had a year's experience together. Picked up 2 freshmen. Joey Cox and Marcus Yates. Marcus is a freshman from Fort Hill here in Cumberland. Marcus is from the Annapolis area, who had connections to kids who have played here previously from that area. Both left-handers, both big tall guys, and both going to become great doubles players while they're here. The key returners will be our guys at the top of the lineup. Kenny Albin, who's a 4th-year senior and has played #1 now for 2 years. Colin Christian, his roommate and fraternity brother, who will be playing 2 and will be Kenny's doubles partner. Very competitive players, and they will be very successful. In the CAC, as I mentioned, we're going to be underdogs definitely to the Salisbury, the Mary Washington, and the CNU. Those programs are nationally ranked, and from top to bottom they are stronger than we are. So we'll be fighting an uphill battle there. Where we should be very competitive is in that next level, the York, St. Mary's, Harrisburg, Southern Virginia. I would expect us to perform and win some of those matches, which would put us into the playoffs. That's my goal, is to qualify and to compete with those second level CAC teams. Non-conference opponents, we should be in great shape.
Well, I think we're going to kind of be starting over just a little bit from last year in the fact that we only have 1 of our players back from last year. So with 5 new players out there, it's it's going to be a little bit different than last year, but we're excited about this season nonetheless. I only have one, really, just one. Dallin Evans returns from last year, and he did a nice job for us playing number 2 last year. He's playing number 1 this year. I do have a return missionary that's just gotten back, Tyler Clark, who was a very nice player before his mission, but he's not played tennis in about 2.5 years, and he had a knee surgery while he was on his mission. So we'll see how he moves around the court. That's Tyler Clark. he's the key newcomer for sure. He's a very good player. We do have 4 other players on the team. We have Brennan Alford, who will probably be playing in the middle of the lineup, who has played some in the past, both before and after his mission, although he was injured last spring. We have Shell Hennis, who's new to the sport of tennis, just played for the first time in the fall. We have Parker Monson, who played before his mission but didn't play last year after his mission. And then we have a brand new player, Court Cox, who's not played since high school, so it's been a few years. Very tough teams. Most of the teams we play, like Bluefield, Piedmont, those kind of teams, Randolph, are really strong due to the fact that they have so many foreign players. And in the past, we've had some nice foreign players. One of the ones we lost last year was Pradeep Ravishankar, who was our number 1, and we lost him to a D2 in Illinois. So we don't have any international players right now, but we'll keep working on that. Honestly, there's two tennis conferences in the CAC. There's the 3 teams that travel nationally and play and have completely different facilities and budget than the other 4 teams. So really, Mary Washington's won the conference every year since 2000. And then Christopher Newport and Salisbury fight it out for 2nd and 3rd. So when we took 4th last year, that was like winning the 2nd conference, which is honestly about as well as we could do. I really felt like we got as much as we absolutely could out of our guys last year. I was so proud of them. It was a tremendous first year in the CAC for us to take 4th.
I think we're going to have a better year than we've had the last maybe 3 or 4 years. Hopefully a 4th place finish would be, a good starting point for an expectation, and then hopefully work our way up. 3 good teams, obviously, CNU, Salisbury, Mary Wash. So we'll just do our best against those teams and hopefully beat the teams that, we expect to beat. Our 3 seniors, Matthew Rosenkrantz, Jake Greenstein, Daniel Irk, they've been in the lineup, I think, pretty much every year, so they sort of have that experience now, and hopefully they can pull us through the tight matches. Probably Devin Lehigh. He's right now he's 6 or 7, so I think if he keeps playing the way he's been playing, he could work his way up a little higher in the lineup if he keeps working hard. So he could have an effect at the bottom of the lineup for sure. I think it definitely helps. I don't think we play quite the level of competition as those top 3 teams in our conference, but I mean we played well. Even when we weren't playing well, we pulled out the matches. So that's a good sign, and I think that's the seniors kind of pulling that through. On down days, they still managed to find ways to win. So I think it could help us in the spring as well. I think it kind of just comes down to our doubles play in a weird way. When we win in doubles, which we have not done previously, it carries through the singles, and we've been able to pull out those matches that we would have lost 5-4, 6-3. We're winning those 6-3 or 5-4 because we're getting a good start in doubles. They're playing a little more aggressive in doubles, and it's sort of carrying into their singles as well.
Our goal has pretty much remained the same every season. We really look to be strong in the conference, and we're really hoping to finish 4th or 5th and get that bid into the tournament so we can compete for the CAC championship. We had 3 real major losses in Andrew Gear, John Fainer, and Jay Gazone. I mean, they were our 1, 3, and 4 player, and we will miss them dearly. Just have to hope that the young people can step up and fill their roles. Returners, we have strong returners in Mark Hardesty, Robert Bishop, Wyatt Polishak, and now we're just looking to build our first years around them. One nice thing is we have nearly everybody coming back next year. So this will be a nice developing year for us. We have some strong newcomers, first-year players in Connor McKissick, Frank DeRose, and Kyle Van Winder that should really step in and fill the roles of some of the players that we lost. Yeah, we have a strong schedule, pretty challenging, both non-conference and we still have the powerhouses in the conference as well. So the beginning of the season is a little bit lighter, and then as it gets towards the end, it gets much more challenging, which is really exactly how we like it to work out. Hilton Head's a great trip. We get some good weather to practice in, and we'll play some competitive matches down there, one of those matches being Frostburg State. So we'll get a conference match in while we're down there with the good weather.
Goal is always to win the conference title, and so we're at a point now where we definitely sort of feel like we got the pieces put together, the right mix of seniors, the right mix of new players that are in there, and then obviously returners from last year as well. And so our focus from day one of the fall practice was, the goal was to win conference title this year. It's been too long of a drought, and so we're definitely looking to try to win the conference title this year. Well, the good thing is the list isn't very long as far as I'd say. I guess the biggest key loss would be Shane Gunther, who was one of the only main guys that played both singles and doubles. And so Paul Berryman was a guy who that helped with depth and played some matches and got in there when guys were hurt and those types of things. But luckily we're in a good situation where we're not in a situation where we're just sort of scrambling to find replacements and so forth. And so so Shane, as of right now, and he played mostly at 4 singles and 3 doubles, and so he was probably our biggest loss from last year. Good thing for us, biggest returners are Eric Spengler and Daniel Albers, who went to NCAAs last year and both played 1 and 2 singles and #1 doubles, and then we sort of, I guess, technically, however you want to put Adam Goldberger, but it's sort of like played on the team 2 years ago, who is now sort of back. So obviously somebody who has experience and has played. And then Shannon Gunther, who played almost every singles match last year and doubles match, has returned as well. And then of course our other captain, Dimitri Vrenos, is back, much healthier than he's been over the last couple of years as well. And so majority of his time was played at 2 doubles and played a lot at 3 singles last year. And so for a team to return their top 3, and I can't really remember a lot of, obviously being 15 years, but like where we returned like our top 3. And so having all 3 of those guys come back, the leadership is obviously huge, but then too just the seasons that they actually had very good seasons last year too, and to return those top 3 guys, it's pretty exciting. Probably the biggest newcomer for the men would be Sean Nago, a Maryland guy who is here and has significant tournament experience, and somebody we're sort of looking to from the get-go to come in and be able to start in singles and doubles. We have Noah Orders, who is sort of similar in a sense of somebody we look to sort of over these next month or so to sort of make a push to be and play significant time in our lineup. So those 2 guys, and then Kelson Weber is somebody who is going to certainly help with our depth and put us in a situation where we can sort of do a split squad situation and be able to have a chance to get out there and play some other teams. And so the schedule is probably one of my favorite ones of the last like 10 years or so. There's always usually something that you sort of like, if we could only have done this a little bit different, or maybe if this one was played earlier than later. And the schedule worked out really well, and especially with spring break, having our spring break schedule going out to California. Obviously the trip to California is great, but then in a sense too of having it mapped out the way it did. It fell almost perfectly with, for the first time ever, we're going to try a day in between for a little, instead of playing 4 straight matches, we're going to do 2, a day off, and then 2 matches that worked out really well. And then two, who we're playing is worked out really well with national competition, but then two, we're going to play a couple of schools that are actually in our region as well, who we would normally never get a chance to play while here, but we're going to play when we're out there. And so the level of competition, and then two, the sort of the timing of it worked out really well. And so, and then in April is where we pick up sort of the tougher conference opponents that we're going to play as well. And so I think we're starting matches earlier than we've ever had before. We're sort of, it's more spread out than sort of jam-packed in the end of March, early April. We're spread out really well. We play significant matches at home as opposed to last year we were on the road a lot. And so it's definitely, on paper, it's one of my favorite schedules that we've had in a while.
We're really excited about the 2014-2015 season for the men. We've got a pretty young squad, one junior, our captain, Shrag Shetty. But we're excited about what took place in the fall, putting two teams into the regional rankings and a freshman into the regional singles rankings. We are looking forward to CAC. It's a very challenging conference. It's going to make some really neat rivalries. And we play an extremely tough out-of-conference schedule as well. Believe in competitive growth opportunities for the guys, so we have a lot of national opportunities this year. They've bought into the environment that we need to have at practice, and we've got great leadership this year, and that's huge. You can't put there's no replacement for that. Shrag Shetty has stepped up as a great leader. He gets it. He's seen it now for 2 years, and the biggest thing we stress is just the practice level intensity. We've got to be able to mirror the level that we're going to see. And it's been a great mesh with every one of the players in the program coming together, training hard, working hard, understanding that if we can't match the level we're going to see in practice, we're practicing with no purpose. So we've got high expectations. We're young, but these guys are hungry. We want to break into the national scene. We want to compete for a conference championship. Nothing less than that. It will satisfy us. But it's a tough conference, and so the guys know that it's a journey. That's how we look at it, one day at a time. And you got to begin with an end in mind. We know what the end is, and now each day we're moving towards that. It's a tough conference, a lot of depth. We finished second in the regular season. Unfortunately, lost in both semifinals on the men's and women's side, and I think that's the biggest takeaway is you got to stay healthy throughout the year. And there's a lot of teams out there that can play high-level tennis. And the key is being healthy and being ready once the conference tournament comes rolling around. Yeah, we graduated Joey Manila, Yona Racco, so they will be missed, both lineup players, singles and doubles. Great guys, and this year, like I said, very young team, but guys in the fall proved that they could step in, and it's exciting to put two teams into the regional rankings in doubles. Three of those players are freshmen. David Reed, Justin Cerny, Max Catcher, and then David also received a regional ranking. Returning, Shrag Shetty is in the rankings with Max, and then also Stephen Boslett returning was part of a regional ranked doubles team and had a very strong conference showing last year. So excited about them, and we've got a lot of depth. We've got a lot more depth this year. Artu Fiva still playing strong in the lineup, so we're excited. We're young, but the guys are hungry. Training hard. We're excited about 2015. We're excited about 2015 schedule. It's always a challenge putting together that perfect schedule, or what you feel is the perfect schedule. It came together this year. We are heading out to California, playing a lot of national level programs out there, and playing the majority of the national level programs in our region. We're excited, and I believe you got to show the guys what the level is at the national level, because that's what it's going to take to win the conference, is being able to compete at that national level. So. Yeah, I believe in a strong schedule, competitive growth opportunities, like I mentioned, and we're excited we put that together this year, and that's the goal moving forward.
Well, our goals are always the same, really, trying to control the things that we can control. So we just talk about trying to get better every day, trying to be focused and giving 100%. Of course, we have some result-oriented stuff that we talk about, and we feel like we're going to be competitive in the conference. We want to do the best we can there and see if we can keep that going. And then we play, a great schedule against a lot of teams that I call 50-50, where you don't know what's going to happen when you go into the match. Those are the fun ones, and we want to come out on top of as many of those as we can. But the way to do that is every day, really. So those are the things that we talk about, is just stuff we can control on a daily basis. Yeah, Alex Blockin's he's a key loss. He's a very interesting character, and we're certainly going to miss him. And he brought a lot. He was very successful at number 3 doubles in his career, and had a lot of really good wins. He did have some. There were some issues there that in singles where we struggled a little bit. He didn't quite have as good of a senior year as he did sophomore and beginning of junior, but at the same time, somebody that talented, it's going to hurt a little bit. But returners, yeah, we return a lot, obviously, and the core of our guys, the core is probably Tyler Carey and Evan Charles are seniors, and just great kids, hard workers, have just brought a lot to our program. They're fantastic. And then David Lunding Johansson's a junior, and Stratton Gilmore's a junior. So we really bring back a lot. 5 out of our 6 starters from last year, which we had a pretty good season. So we're pretty excited about those guys. And some of our guys that didn't play as much last year, who are sophomores now, are really playing well. So we have as much depth this year as we've had in a long time. And some of that is returners that weren't necessarily starters last year, but they're going to have a good chance at having impacts this season. So we're excited about that. Yeah, non-conference, we have a few D1s. We just opened up this past weekend, and then have another D1 this weekend. And then we always play we think a pretty competitive non-conference schedule with, usually 10 to 15 nationally ranked teams, somewhere in there. Starting with, we have our invite with a few coming to us in February, and then we have play 4 ranked teams in California. And Hopkins and Carnegie are both top 10 in the country. So we play a lot of really good competition, and that will be competitive and be in every one of those matches. And so, those are the fun ones. Those are the ones we look forward to. And, we're always excited about our schedule. That keeps you motivated when you have something good every week that you're looking forward to. So it's a good schedule.